Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jan. I'm the CEO of Acquire.Fi. We have Andrew with us today. Unfortunately, Nathan is away this week, so it's gonna be only me and Andrew. Andrew, what's up? What are you seeing in the market?
I'm seeing a little bit of de-risking today. We've had quite an explosive market for the past couple of weeks here. Pretty decent start to August. Does it make sense for things to kind of chill out here a little bit? Yes. I think we came up into some objectives, resistance levels and whatnot. Little disappointed that we didn't break all-time highs yesterday. We were pretty close to, at our previous all-time highs. But it looks like the resistance levels did kind of kick back in. Plus, I do think there is some like de-risking stuff kind of coming in today because CPI is in about an hour now. So, but we never know what the market wants to do. But
What do you
let's
think
jump.
will happen with the CPI today?
I actually haven't been keeping up, to be honest. Looks like the forecast looks like it's not really too much of a movement here. I think it might probably just come in a little bit under, maybe. But yeah, I mean, like I think the market's already kind of pricing it in. I think the core inflation rate's kind of more important. As you can see, inflation is technically going back up slightly here, which you don't want. You kind of want them to come back lower, but yeah, it shows you like the economy is a little bit not the best.
Well, that's not gonna change for a while, right?
Hopefully
And we're
not.
probably getting a new Fed, so JB Powell is gonna go away.
No, he's not going away.
He's gonna go away, and there's gonna be money printing. So I'm expecting all-time high soon. I wouldn't be a surprise if that would happen during
Oh
this
man,
or next
more
week.
inflation. No.
Well,
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, hopefully it comes out good and we can turn right back. I mean, even just looking at equities, like things are kind of slowing down. Like we had a nice double bottom breakout. We're right up against previous highs again, right? So there's going to be a lot of resistance around here, especially against that candle body high. So as you can see, like things are a little bit cooling off, but we have a lot of support just below to kind of keep this uptrend up. So hopefully, we get the print, maybe we get the dip, we get a sell off on the news, and then throughout the day or night, depending where you are, the market kind of reverses and Asia can kind of pick it back up. But right now, it's like, during these kind of like volatility type events, it's always kind of hard to predict which way things are going to go. So you just kind of let the market do its thing and wait for those setups. Simple as that. So we can kind of go through Bitcoin chart. We had this 4.669 extension level. So this is where we kind of topped out last time. So that level is still technically resistance, right? This is a lot of liquidity here that's just kind of left open. A lot of late longs that are trapped here right now. So, the market's come. We rallied pretty strongly here. We had a double bottom right there on that breakout, which is right against the actual double top level too, which is kind of interesting how that developed there. But as you can see, we came right up against it, and we just kind of like topped out again. So clearly there's a big wall of sell, big wall of resistance here. Maybe the longs were kind of hopping off that were kind of stuck here for a little while. But right now it's not the most prettiest sight or the worst. I don't see any double tops or anything yet, so that's always good. Maybe we have to kind of consolidate a little bit, and maybe we have to do something like that again. We're always looking for these W's, right? So until we see that, kind of like a little bit hands off here. I took quite a bit of profits on a lot of my positions this morning, and yeah, I mean, other than that, like, I look at the MACD, it looks fine. There's no bear divs quite just yet, so that's always good. Usually when I start seeing bear divs, that's when I kind of start to get a bit concerned. We were quite overbought when we were back here, but it has reset based on of this like retracement. We still have a bit of ways before we even reach, overbought conditions. So momentum wise, like I think we're okay. There's no signs of like bearish pushes. So I think this pullback is just like a healthy correction. We do have both the moving averages, the 13 EMA, 30 SMA just below. That will be our supports as the price comes down. So again, there's still a lot of levels and things to kind of keep this uptrend up. We do have a buy signal and the hash ribbon signal as well. That's still pretty active there as well. So all in all, it's just like, yeah, I think today is just probably going to be a bit of a de-risking day. And then probably by tomorrow, closer to the end of the week, we should probably see some kind of reversal if this market is to be uptrending. Ethereum was a lot stronger than Bitcoin, to be honest. Like it was kind of leading the charge. Like it was breaking these highs, it was breaking these highs, it was breaking these highs, and now we're pretty much getting closer and closer to these previous all-time highs, which is around like 4,800. So what I noticed is that we came pretty much close right up against that 88.6 resistance level. That's what we call like the sniper fib level. This is generally where you're going to see, a lot of like resistance or support depending on which direction. We're also at a 1.618 fib extension level as well. So this area is, a bit of a wall of resistance. So I think that's why we kind of paused here, just trying to see if we can kind of consolidate. But the same thing is like there's no bear divs on the MACD, so that's a good sign. But the only thing is we are quite overbought again. So, anytime we're in the overbought conditions, you're best to just kind of, let it reset a little bit before trying to chase too long. So for me personally, I think maybe this does need to kind of cool down a little bit. Maybe we do have to kind of chill out and just kind of step back a little bit. Maybe let that reset and then, hunt those W's again, because you could have tried to play that, but that was like kind of a really wonky W. That was kind of like more like a V bottom, cup and handle kind of looking pattern. But I wouldn't fault you if you tried to take that trade there.
It's good to know, by the way, that Ethereum had $1 billion worth of ETF flows yesterday. I
Yeah,
mean, the
huge.
ETF
One of
flows
the biggest.
overall like have been like absolutely bonkers. So if we don't go all-time high during this or next week, I don't know. I think we have all the solutions now to actually start ripping ass, if you can say that.
Well, I mean, this was a pretty good run. Like, since April, like we just been straight up, like 150%. It's pretty decent. I do think we're gonna at least hit all-time high once, perhaps on ETH. Like, we're so close at this
No, for
point.
sure. I think the
Like,
biggest resistance is there, and we will probably bunk it 3 times as always before anything happens.
yeah,
Uh,
like I want 6K. Give me 6K. That's like what I'm eyeing.
I definitely want 8K, but let's
8K is
see.
nice too.
Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, if I look at my chaos level, I mean that's around like 8.5 there. So yeah, you never know. I mean, at this rate, but I think like the best way to play these kind of names, right, is like you want to chop it down into like 30 minutes charts, perhaps. Try to find some kind of swing trade and stuff like that. Like I've been doing a lot of these like kind of like trend continuation type setups, like it's like a harmonic based setup, like A B equals CD kind of stuff. Um, or you can go down even onto 4 hours and try to see if you can find some scalps. Like you could buy those W's, could have tried to buy this wider W on the 4 hour and etc. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking. Is like just trying to see if we can kind of get some swing trades in between these big consolidations. But right now in the daily, like I don't really see any kind of setup right now. ETH does look a little bit stronger than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a bit red here right now, but overall, I still think we're quite, we're in an uptrend clearly, and I don't see that we're quite over yet. So, I think we just have to wait and let the market kind of just figure it out, get the CPI done, and whatever. Um, Looking at altcoin indexes, I do see we are kind of slowly topping out a little bit here. Potentially putting in some M's here, right? We got the first inkling of that. Maybe we get something like that. But if we get something like that, then obviously Bitcoin dominance will probably pick back up. And then the alts are going to kind of get washed. Usually kind of what we see. But still kind of early. Again, we had quite a bit of run. Maybe it's just going to be a retest of these original breakouts. and then we can kind of get back to that. If we look at kind of the overall matrix of different names, yeah, like things are looking a little bit ugly today. Like I said, like we ran up quite a bit. People probably want to de-risk ahead of CPI, take some profit, especially people that are able to buy these little W's on the lows or even these W's. Um, you know, it does make sense. I know a lot of people are trying to perp trade a lot of these kind of stuff, so you got to be a little bit more aggressive. But I'm in spot, so a lot of these trades I just kind of keep open and just let them ride and stuff. So, um, but yeah, that's kind of like most of what I see. We can kind of look at like different charts and stuff, but we do have a pump trade still. Like this is like the ideal setup that I personally love using, right? You get the initial breakouts, you get the pullback, you get into these reload zones, which is the 0.618 to 0.78.6. That is kind of like the sweet spot of like trying to find some kind of bottom. So once price is within this range, you want to start looking for structure. So as we're in this range, we're going to look for that W. Hopefully you got some oversold conditions since we're trying to long. And then we also want to look for like bullish divergences on MACD. Unfortunately, there's not enough data here still. So if you go on the 4 hour, you can see a bit more, a little bit more chunkier. But I personally like daily charts. I've always been a daily guy, and the setup was partial, I would say, because technically you don't have the full momentum stuff there. Technically you're oversold here, but you hit the double bottom, and I always try to hit for doubles, and you just
But
gotta
to be
wait.
honest, pump looks like Pengu, like exactly almost the same as Pengu.
Yeah, Pengu. I'm actually gonna short Pengu.
But if you look at like the
Again,
long term, like they had the similar, they had a good start, they dumped for a
yes.
while, and then they
So
started again. And
like with any charts, right? Like this is how you do it. You just go like just reload zone. Pengu fell quite a lot, like comparatively. Um, but at the end of the day, like you just want to look for things that have fallen, right? And then the bottoms are usually defined by these W's. Like that's what you're looking for. And you always want to try to hit these W's. Like, gonna try to hit that one. That one failed, unfortunately. That one's a bit wonky. But that's typically how you start seeing and noticing these kind of these bottoms. This is great too with Pengu, because the Pengu did like a full retrace, right? Like personally for me, like when I see coins that come out like this, like why wouldn't you want to buy at the bottom? Like that's literally buying at the bottom, right?
well, I
The
mean
whole
the same was with Pump. Pump, despite their income per day, I mean they're doing more
yeah,
income than most of layer ones. For example, Sui or Aptos. So
yeah.
I think the risk reward there was something to watch out. I was saying on the previous episodes here that hey, I'm gonna buy Pump, and I did, and I'm happy.
Hell yeah, we did on purse. We made some decent coin. I did blow up my position as things kind of came back down there a little bit. But I am looking to like buy some more again. Like I have my spot bags open. Like spot's always spot until like my setup's invalidated. But when you're trading perps, it's a little bit scary. Like it's not. I hate being in like perps trades. Like it's too stressful for me. Um, but there's like other stuff like Link. Like Link's getting closer and closer to our doubles. Same thing. Sorry, the chart's looking somewhat messy, but it's the same setup that I use for like everything. And it's just rinse and repeat. It's just all about timing and like, being focused, right? You got the reload zone, right? You got 61.8 to 17.6. You get the double bottom within the range. You get the bullish divergence on the MACD. You get the oversold conditions. And then you just kind of wait, right? Like I've been in this trade since April. That's like 5 months. Like most people don't, like they can't sit and wait, and that's the problem. And like if you can double, like if your trade doubles in like a year, like that's not bad. Like hitting 2x is like okay. I know people are trying to aim for like those 100x's, but I'm pretty conservative, I guess, and like pretty happy with just slow returns. um but things look decent. Like again, you could have bought that W. That was a decent perps trade. We did a little swing trade there. I do think like the market's still hot. Like, um, I think it's just a matter of now looking for the names that you missed and that you want, and then just draw your reload zone, and then try to hunt, setups. Like look for those double bottoms within those reload zones. You might have to wait a bit, and that's okay. But there's no point in like FOMO chasing names because I personally think you're probably going to end up getting burned. You're more likely to get hurt. Um, so just wait for those setups. That's all I got for charts today.
Okay. Well, that was good. Let me add my stage. Yeah, there's some things that I want to highlight this today. When Nathan is off, we're not going to be focusing that much on overall news. We're going to be focusing on
Oh,
some of the coins.
sorry,
Oh, someone's calling.
my bad. Sorry.
There we go. No worries. One of them has been Ton. So I know that we all hate Justin Sun. We all know that he has been scamming quite a lot, but I can't like if you look at the fees and you have to be very very open to what's happening on Tron is that when the stablecoin market is going up, people use a lot of Ton, Tron, and especially like in Asia, in other countries, like Tron is the cheapest way of moving money. Their fees has been skyrocketing lately, and I don't know if you can pull a Tron graph quickly and look at
Yes.
it, but I'm pretty bullish on Tron to be honest. Like they're doing more fees in fees than almost all the other chains. Solana is okay there a stop, but like other chains, I think Tron is doing pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, if you can look at the price chart, it's freaking insane, and like they're listed on Nasdaq now. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty crazy to
Look,
me.
you have to add it
Yeah,
on straight. There we
there we
go.
go. Yeah, so like it's just straight up. Like I go on a weekly chart just to show you. Like that's a runaway bull market, right? Like, you know.
But yeah, if it will pull back a little bit, I will definitely buy Tron. I think despite all the scamminess and so forth, it has this use case. People are gonna use remittance no matter what. It's integrated into a lot of different banks in Asia, and overall, like the fees are ripping. And what I understood is that some of the fees are being used to pump up the coin.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, definitely don't chase this at these levels personally, not for me. But you could like, this is an uptrend market, so you can try to look at lower time frames and just like hunt these little consolidations. So, there's going to be a dip, there's going to be consolidation, and then kind of break out, blah blah blah. Um, you know, uh, what I like to see is like just like you get the breakout, you get the pullback, you get the W's, and then off you go. So that's kind of like what I look for, and then you kind of enter on that W there. But that's a little bit more advanced setups, which I don't really talk too publicly about. But yeah, I agree, man. Tron's hot, super
Yeah,
hot right
but
now.
yeah, definitely look at it at some point, guys. Not shilling it, not saying you should buy it, but if there's a big pullback and the fees are still going up like this is, I think it's a very strong buy.
Yeah.
Another thing was Pump. We were talking about it before. When it launched, we were speculating how much fees are they generating. Bonk did an attack on it. Uh, and people who don't remember or wasn't in the last bull run, which was in, or DeFi wars in 2021, SushiSwap actually did the same thing. When they launched, they were going to be the number one competitor of Uniswap, but eventually Uniswap, after 2 months, 3 months, took the position of number one again. And I think Pump is doing the same thing at the moment. They had a little bit choppy to start, but now they're just printing with fees. And actually, they're printing more fees than most of the L1s. So I don't know. I'm pretty bullish
Wow.
on Pump. I think they still have a lot of things that they can develop. And especially if they raised a lot of capital and they're just doing 100% buybacks at the moment, I don't see why the price not would not go up.
Yeah, that would go insane. Just from the revenue that made from the year and the raise, like, damn, that's a lot of ammo. Just
Yeah,
one.
no, I am pretty bullish. Okay, another one. So actually, Athena and Anna, so Athena, they've been pretty like hot lately, at least for the last 2 months. And people who don't know what Athena is, it's basically a stable coin where you get a yield, and how they produce that yield is with perps. So as we do OTC trades, we work with a lot of quant funds, market makers, and so forth. And what they're doing with their lock tokens is they're buying it and then doing a hedge on perps. And this is called cash and carry. So you're locking your discounted fee, what you got, basically getting an APY. And this is what they're doing in larger sums of money or larger fields. And they're basically giving a possibility to normal people to get into this trade. From my side, I think this is similar what Terra Luna was doing. I'm not saying that Athena is Terra Luna, but I think once we grow a little bit more and once they get even more capital, it's going to be very hard to deploy all that capital and get the same APY what they're getting. They've been very hot in Korea, and you can see also from the TVLs and Ps, they've been just killing it. Um, if you look at their graph, I think Andrew, you can pull out the
Yeah.
graph.
1 second. I just had it up a second ago. Here we go. Share this tab. Actually, Athena is actually one of my biggest bags.
No way.
Funny enough.
Yeah.
Um,
But
yeah,
yeah,
normally,
they've been doing a lot of profit this quarter. Like they've been just killing it.
yeah, like here, let me hide this like drawing. Sorry, guys. But it did a nice breakout, right? Nice pullback, nice consolidation, and then now we're breaking out again. So you can tell where the bottoms come in, man. You just gotta hunt those W's. Like this one failed unfortunately, but that's all right. And then like you just try again, and once you catch that one W and that one trending move, like it can print you quite a bit. Like from these bottoms, like that's pretty decent, like 300% almost. I hit a 200% there, plus a pretty big win on the perps trade. So, like I was saying, like the best way for you to enter a trade like this is like don't buy it up here. You want to look for like some kind of pullback into like whether it's back into the 38.2. Then you can hunt like trend continuation type setups as prices park itself here. Or if you really want to come in cheap, like what I always like to do is you want to hunt these, reload zones. So those are kind of like the two areas of interest that I would have if you are to wanting to add to this bag. But I have already such a massive position on this and just like trying to hit my target up here at 114. So please
But
don't
yeah, I
front
think
run me. Let me get my targets.
I think Anna will be still printing, but just to be careful, I do think once they get more and more money, it's gonna be very hard to put that money to works. Especially if we get a pullback, if we get a bear market, it's gonna be very hard with yields because usually there's no perps, or there is perps, but the funding rates are not that premium. So at the moment, there are a lot of people that are doing a lot of leverage, including me sometimes, and Andrew probably. But that's why they're getting the APY. But once this cool stuff is over, once we go to a bear market, be careful. But yeah, Enna has been very good. Congrats on them.
Mm-hmm.
I think my last thing that I'm gonna show, and unfortunately we have another call that we have to attend, is the ETF flows. Like guys, remember, like ETF flows, if they are very positive, I don't see that we will have a huge pullback. Ethereum has been just ripping compared to BTC. We had a $1 billion a day yesterday, and I think with BTC or Bitcoin, uh, it hasn't been that positive, to be honest. It's a little bit like Ethereum taking the first position. Obviously, they have much better marketing. They have much more people that are outspoken because obviously Satoshi is anonymous. No one is really controlling what's happening with BTC. So I don't know. I think overall the risk reward here is Ethereum. It's gonna still go up, and as we saw on Andrew's graphs, we're still hitting
Yeah,
almost all-time high.
very close. We're gonna get there. And I agree. I think there's more upsides to ETH. Bitcoin's already broken its all-time highs multiple times. It's time for Ethereum. It's gonna happen. Just believe.
Indeed, just believe. But I think that's good to wrap it up. Today was a little bit shorter episode. I hope you guys liked it. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll be doing this on Friday again.
Yeah.
Any last words, Andrew?
Yeah, just play your setups. Make sure you follow your trading plan. Don't over leverage too hard. Manage your risk carefully, and please don't FOMO chase this market. Let the levels come down to you.
I think that's a good wrap up.
Yes, sir.
All
Awesome.
right. See you on Friday.
See you guys.